Pitching for Atlanta here in the 8th, Luke Jackson is on.
The 4th time for him in a Braves uniform this season. 5 innings so far for Luke Jackson. There's the overall numbers when you combine them together, but another guy who they got at a time when he was throwing the baseball really well for the San Francisco Giants.
Four, 5, 6 in the order for Colorado, starting with Rogers. Well, a good sign. Told you that Laureano's day-to-day with that right heel injury. He got it wrapped before the game, but he is out there now replacing Soler, so feeling good enough to return today.
Well, I think we're pretty convinced that this is something that we will see with consistency for Jorge Soler, because he has to be in the outfield after DHing the first half of the season with the Giants, is that there'll be defensive replacements when Brian Snitker feels like the opportunity is there. They can afford to take Jorge Soler out of the lineup and get him off his feet. Especially here, they count everything now. They count every step going on with these players, and so playing right field in Colorado, thin air. Of course, the dugouts on the third base side, that's a few extra steps. That's a lot when you've been DHing all season.
Ball will roll right down the line, but eventually go just foul. The Rockies will also hit the road after this. They will go to Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. So it'll be a race to Denver International Airport after this for the two teams.
I thought we were going to fly to Denver International Airport from here. It's only a short, 30-minute flight to get to the airport. Well, how can they even call it the Denver Airport?
It is a little bit of a hike from where we are now, yes. Swing and a miss. Luke Jackson, good start to the 8th inning. He gets Rogers.
And that is the money pitch for him, the slider for Luke Jackson. 24th punch out he has on this pitch this year of the 40 strikeouts. And good downward movement at 89 miles an hour.
So the row of purple seats, if you've never been to the ballpark, there's a row of purple seats that goes around the upper deck here at Coors Field. And that signifies 5,280 feet, 1 mile. I always thought that that's one of the coolest features about Coors Field.
That was a really good idea that they did here, and makes some sense in the Mile High City.
And the reason I bring that up is because the Rockies are going to play Arizona next. And Chase Field in Arizona is the second highest as far as feet above sea level that a stadium sits. So this ballpark sits 1 mile above sea level. A single out to right center by Tolia. How high above sea level do you think Chase Field is in Arizona?
I'll say 4,800 feet.
So it's actually quite a big gap. It's 1,100 feet above sea level. Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Yikes, I missed that by a lot. All right, so here's how my annoying brain works. We show you the purple line. How high from the ground is that really from home plate, do you think? A couple hundred feet? 150 feet?
I would say right around 150. Is that what you would guess, too?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, so you're a little closer to, call it 5,100 feet.
Yeah.
At least when you're standing at home plate. Wow, I didn't realize. I knew Arizona was the second highest. I just thought it was close.
Yeah, no, it's quite a bit different. Just 1,100 feet above sea level there at Chase Field.
I mentioned Albuquerque earlier. Albuquerque's about 100 or 200 feet higher. Not much, but a little bit higher than Coors Field.
A charge out to left field off the bat of Cave, and it's got just enough to get out of here. And it's now 8-4 in the 8th.
Well, just as we're talking about elevation, here is a good example of how it works here in this ballpark for a guy like Jake Cave. Get it in the air and see if it'll go. Didn't feel like he hit this ball that hard, but he gets enough, again, underneath it in this ballpark, and it just squeaks out of here.
Is that same guy that almost caught the home run ball the other day, the Duck Dynasty guy?
I don't know.
He missed that one. There's the celebration this year. You're in the mountains, put on your ski goggles, right? Well, still a 4-run cushion with one out here in the bottom of the 8th. There's our guy. I don't know. I think that's a different guy from the other night.
You know what? You could convince me that that's the same guy.
Well, yeah. Our broadcast crew thinks it is the same guy. I said Duck Dynasty, but one of our great clubhouse guys, Al Lark, he said that looks like Forrest Gump after he ran across the country a few times. Like, yeah, that does. That tracks well.
This is about where he pulled up, and so maybe he just shut it down and became a Rockies fan.
Two to the catcher, Stallings, fouling it away.
You know, we don't get it too often. There's different ways that we measure things with pitches and the effect that gravity has on those pitches. We look at like elevation effect. Like on a ball like that, I would be curious, right? If you were at sea level and how far that ball really would have went. It would make pitchers feel a lot better, I think, knowing that.
You want StatCast to add that to their deep arsenal?
I think so. At least when you're in Colorado, let us know. We know there's an advantage. How much? Because you can look at the distance and say, yeah, sure, that's a home run and X amount of ballparks based on the distance, but what about the elevation?
Stallings did have an RBI single earlier in the game. But he goes down looking here. Four-seam fastball from Luke Jackson.
And he's frustrated, no doubt, because if you remember his last at-bat, he also got called out on strikes on a pitch that was elevated. It was a slider and it probably caught the very top of the strike zone. This is borderline, but very similar pitches as far as location goes that go against Jacob Stallings this afternoon.
And now our old friend Sam Hilliard.
So I think after this series, you should call him an ex-friend.
Yeah. He has not been very kind to the Braves with 5 hits and 5 runs driven in. Speaking of the elevation and the thin air here, between the two teams, 14 home runs in this series. And Hilliard accounted for one of those yesterday.
So I got to believe for Snit, he would like to see Luke Jackson finish up this game and throw the 8th obviously now and then maybe the 9th. We'll see. Of course, one more run and then you run into a potential save situation. And really, I think a 4-run lead should probably get a save in Colorado.
Yeah, that's true. Different rules here. Jackson a strike away from sending us to the 9th inning. Close. Sam Hilliard last year with the Braves, but for him the journey began right here in Colorado. Parts of 4 seasons with the Rockies before going to Atlanta last year. Began this season in AAA, got called up in the middle of June. Another hit. Back-to-back 3-hit games for Sam Hilliard. A quick message now from Truist.
Leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist, official bank of the Atlanta Braves.
Eric Abreu out to talk to Luke Jackson.
And now it does look like some action down in that Braves bullpen.
I think it's Joe Jimenez that is starting to loosen.
Things can happen really fast here, unfortunately, for a pitching staff, and trying to stay on top of that, keep your bullpen fresh. It is a real challenge. You don't like getting guys up unless you have to use them, but again, because innings can get away from you really quickly here, and sometimes it can be like a fire drill down there.
It is Joe. Spencer Schwellenbach gave the Braves 6 innings again, struck out 6, gave up 2 runs. And now the bullpen trying to go the rest of the way. Curveball top of the zone, and Shunk is behind 0-2. Lined out to right center. That's going to find the grass. Eli White cuts it off, gets it back in time to hold Hilliard at third. Ball goes bouncing away, but still the runners will stay put.
Now this is an 0-2 mistake here from Luke Jackson. He went slider, curveball, got ahead in the count 0-2, and you really want to sweep this slider outside of the strike zone. Caught a little bit too much, even though it's bottom third. You're looking for a chase in that situation and something outside of the strike zone. And that's going to be it for Luke Jackson.
Joe Jimenez is being summoned out of the Braves bullpen here in the 8th inning. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. By Xfinity. Stream Braves baseball with Xfinity because it's only live once. And by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. Closing out a 3-game series against the Rockies. Welcome back to Denver. 8-4. So Luke Jackson struggled a little bit here in the 8th inning. So Brian Snitker is going to bring in Joe Jimenez, who threw an inning yesterday and struck out 2.
And more often than not, you see clean innings and opportunities for Joe Jimenez. He's only taken on 4 inherited runners this year. None of them have scored. It's been a great year for him with his 50 strikeouts in his 46 innings.
Blackman has a couple of hits today. Weak swing there at the 4-seam fastball. Right field, another hit. That will score them both. It's 8-6.
Take a look at the pitch. It is not a bad one. It is outside of the strike zone. That's the changeup from Joe Jimenez. You don't see it too often from him. He'll only throw it to lefties about 10% of the time, and it's below the zone. That's what you want, and Charlie Blackman just does a good job of getting that ball in the air and into the outfield.
4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's a ball game again. And now here's Tovar. First pitch outside. Blackman may not be as good as he once was now at 38 years old, but he is showing you that he is a smart, savvy veteran hitter. He has spoiled a lot of pitches. He's had a lot of hits like that in this series. And there's another hit. Arcia couldn't get up to grab it. A little too tall for him. So now the tying run is at first base here.
The 93 miles an hour on this fastball, and they're trying to go away. Caught a little bit too much of the plate. And again, you know that Tovar is going to be aggressive. He's having a really nice year. And hits that one pretty hard into left center field.
Ryan McMahon becomes the 9th batter this inning for the Rockies. Arcia can't grab it. Another run is going to score. From 8-2, it's now 8-7.
The Rockies are finding ways to put the baseball in play here with all these base hits that they are stringing together. We'll take a look at the pitch here from Joe Jimenez. That's a good pitch. It's 94 miles an hour, a couple of inches off the plate for a guy that we talked about and how far he stands off the plate, but that's good coverage, looking for something away when you have runners in scoring position. All 3 of these at-bats that we have seen from these last 3 are taking that approach with runners on.
5 straight hits for the Rockies. Brendan Rodgers started this inning by striking out. Out to left center field. Oh, boy. Are they going to send him? Yes. And the Rockies have the lead.
Four batters, 6 pitches. They have been aggressive here. First pitch slider that is down but over the plate. And that line drive into left center field. I'm not sure they would have had much of a chance anyway. You're going to see Eli White here and slip a little bit when he gets to this ball. And I think they were sending him all the way.
Wow. Well, it was 8-2 when we came to the bottom of the 8th, but 7 runs in this frame for the Rockies, and now they are in the driver's seat to try to win this series. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Tolia now the batter. There's a ball that came on the field out in right, so they're going to get that cleaned up. You said it. I mean, they're so aggressive. It's just boom, 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 and all of a sudden you look up and you're trailing.
And it's not as if, again, they were swinging at really good pitches to hit. They were sitting in the middle of the zone. Pitches off the plate, breaking pitches that are generally down. Just taking that approach and being aggressive against Joe Jimenez.
In the air to right field. Laureano has his eyes on it. Well, now we go to the 9th, and the Braves have to get the bats going, down 9-8.